Terror in northern Israel yet once again. We just learned of the terrible terrorist attack that just occurred in northern Israel, where a terrorist snuck through the border, a breach in the fence, and took a pickup truck, and he drove through a northern neighborhood, ramming and killing a beautiful, beautiful gentleman, and continuing on his rampage to another new city, killing a young, beautiful woman for no reason whatsoever, first ramming and then stabbing, and continuing on his rampage until a civilian or security officer neutralized him. Our hearts go out at the senseless and horrific murder of innocent civilians. And this is just continuous, the anguish, the pain and suffering that innocent civilians are being haunted, tortured for no other reason other because they are Jewish and living in Israel. I am now reporting to you from Bondi Beach, Sydney, Australia. 2 weeks ago tonight, there was a group of close to 1,000 people gathered here to welcome in Hanukkah. Behind me, over on my right shoulder, you can see the menorah. That was the menorah that was meant to have been kindled on the first night of Hanukkah. The Hanukkah celebration represents the victory of light over darkness. We are now facing more than ever a war between evil and good, between darkness and light. The evil that was seen here on this very spot that I am sitting, with the menorah right behind me, was the area that was supposed to be full of light. And then momentarily, two terrorists, Islamic radicals, came here, premeditated, planned ahead to shoot and kill as many people as possible. Sadly, horrifically, he shot and killed my own personal nephew, Rabbi Eli Schlinger, who's just 41 years old. He was standing right here on the ground in front of the menorah, organizing the event and getting ready to kindle the very first candle. Him and 15 others were shot, killed right here on this field. It was such a horrific, terrible massacre and terrorist attack that one cannot wrap our minds around it. Here are people gathered here at Bondi Beach to celebrate the miracle of lights, to celebrate the victory of light over darkness, and came here to be able to show the world that this isn't just a Jewish holiday, but the message of Hanukkah is universal. It's to the whole world, that we are all faced with the same darkness, no matter where we are in the world. But we cannot allow the darkness to define us or allow the darkness to have us hide away in our homes and run away from the world. On the contrary, Hanukkah teaches us that we bring the menorah outside. We bring it outside just like it was brought out here in Bondi Beach. And we light up the world because every single one of us can be a menorah. Every single one of us can be a light to light up the world. A little bit of light pushes away a lot of darkness. I'm reflecting upon the two victims on Friday in Israel, in northern Israel. They woke up in the morning going about the day-to-day life. An evil, dark force terrorists came with whatever twisted radicalism or religion or whatever the motive was to take away these two beautiful lives. Our hearts go out to them. Israel has been through enough. It has been through the last 2 years, the war in Gaza, which many people don't realize October 7 was planned to be the next Holocaust. The organized plan that Yahya Sinwar, may his name obliterated from history, planned together with Hezbollah and Iran and the Houthis and with Hamas. The plan was to do a united annihilation of the Jewish people in Israel. That was the plan of October 7th. The plan fell apart. Hezbollah didn't join in at the October 7th. Yahya jumped ahead and he did it single-handedly. Unfortunately, so tragically, he murdered and killed 1,200 innocent, beautiful civilians, babies, grandparents, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, friends, Jewish, not Jewish, indiscriminately killed, murdered, raped, tortured, burnt, beheaded, the worst types of barbaric and hideous type of murders that could have been committed. Their plans were to march all the way into Tel Aviv and Jerusalem from the north and the south, and they were going to overwhelm Israel and have the annihilation of the Jewish people. That was their plan. But just like we read and we read every year on Passover around the Seder table, that in every generation they rise up against us to strike us down, but God protects us. You see that menorah that's behind my shoulder, looking at the beach? That's a menorah, a candelabra of 8 hands, and one in the middle. That has been lit every single year for the last 2,000 years. The story of Hanukkah began when Israel was occupied by the Jewish people. We lived there. That was our home for thousands of years. The Greek, Syrian army came trying not to take Israel away geographically, but spiritually. It was a spiritual war. It was our first war for religious freedom. And they tried as hard as they can to try to assimilate the Jewish people, to abandon the faith in God and the Torah. It was predominantly a spiritual war. But in order to eradicate that spiritual war, we had to drive the Greeks and Syrians out of Israel. A small group of fighters led by Judah Maccabee was able to mobilize a small army and miraculously was able to defeat the huge Greek army that they ran away. When they came to rededicate the temple, they wanted to once again do what their mandate is, to bring a light into the world, to be a light unto the nations. And they wanted to rekindle the menorah, where they found that not only was the temple ransacked and desecrated, but all the oils the seals were broken. They weren't spilt out. They were just broken because they knew that the only oil is pure oil that has a seal in it that can be used. There was only one jug left with the seal, and that jug was supposed to last one day. Miraculously, it lasted 8 days. And that is that 8-pronged menorah you're looking on right now. That's on Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia, where I am right now. And as I'm talking to you, I see that menorah behind me, but I see also its message, what it resembles. The menorah teaches us that we do this outside in the public. The world needs to know that it's not just a Jewish holiday. Because if the Greeks would have prevailed and we would have been defeated, there would not be any Judaism today, nor Christianity. We need to realize that this is a fight for freedom of all religions. That's what the war happened 2,000 years ago. The menorah teaches us that every single one of us can bring light into the world. And when we light up one candle, we don't suffice with just one candle, but every day we add on another candle. In life, where there's darkness, the only way we could Dispel the darkness is to transform the darkness. And we transform the darkness through bringing light. But not just one light, not just two, not just three, not just four, not just five. We keep on growing and growing and growing. This is all very up close and personal to me, myself personally, and my family. This horrific massacre that happened in Sydney happened to my family. My sister and brother in law came here about 40 years ago to establish a Russian immigration synagogue where all the Russians who have been persecuted in Russia got to leave in the early 80s. And my brother in law, who was born Russian, came here to Sydney, Australia, fleeing the horrific tyranny in Russia to be able to live free as a Jew can live free in Australia. And they, my sister and brother, my youngest sister and brother-in-law, set up the Chabad Center in Bondi. Every year they've been coming here to light the menorah with their Russian community. Here are refugees from Russia who fled tyranny, who fled anti-Semitism, came to live peacefully in Australia. And this occurred every single year when they kindled the menorah. This year, they did not get a chance to kindle the first night because of the radical Islamic, may their names be blotted from history, brought the idealism that is so twisted that doesn't belong in the 21st century. They are stuck in the 7th century. That's what they need to go back to. And father and son stood at the bridge right here on the left of me. And they just shot indiscriminately as many people as possible, even a 10-year-old Matilda. But for me personally, it was when my nephew, Rabbi Eli Schlanger, 41 years old, was killed, slaughtered right here, right behind me where I'm sitting now, leaving behind a beautiful wife, my niece, 5 beautiful children, a 2-year-old, a 2-month-old baby. I just spent the weekend with them. I'm sitting around the beautiful Sabbath table and watching my niece all week, a 2-month-old orphan. She's a widow. She has 5 kids and now orphans. Yeah, what were they doing? They were just here to bring light into the world. They were here to bring happiness to others. And yet, darkness and evil cannot stand that. Today, I want to memorialize them as we are sitting here in the same exact lawn where this slaughter and massacre occurred to transform this darkness into light. And that is by inspiring you that you too can transpire, can change, transfer the darkness into light. We can transform the darkness into light. You, wherever you are in your hometown, in your country, wherever you are, you too can dispel darkness through light. And that is through random acts of goodness and kindness. My nephew Eli, known as Eli, one of his last things he did alive was pray and pray with others. If you are Jewish and you had a bar mitzvah or did not have a bar mitzvah, you know what it means, how to pray in the morning, where we have the leather straps with the leather boxes known as tefillin, that every bar mitzvah boy from 13 years old are supposed to pray with them every single weekday morning. If you haven't done it, find a local rabbi and begin wrapping the tefillin in memory of Eli. Everyone else in the world think what Eli wanted to accomplish was to make this world a better place. He was very active in introducing the 7 Noahide laws, the 7 general laws for the rest of the world to fulfill, to kindly think about beginning observing those 7 Noahide laws. May I conclude that for the 2 victims who fell this weekend in Israel, may the souls rest in peace. 2 beautiful people do not deserve to die. No one deserves to die. It's about time that the world learns our lesson from history, that evil exists, darkness exists. We cannot no longer keep blinders on our eyes and keep our heads in the ground and making believe it doesn't exist. I myself personally survived a mass shooting at my synagogue on April 27, 2019, when an anti-Semite 19-year-old breached our synagogue with a blazing AR-15, shot and killed Lori Lynn Gilbert Kay right in front of me. And then he took aim at me. He was able to shoot at my two fingers, but the rest of me survived. And I always wondered, why did I survive this near-death experience so close? And perhaps one of the reasons is so I could be here today in Bandai, and I could sit at the exact same place where the darkness was and help transform it into light. With the menorah right behind me, standing tall once again. Last week, a week after the massacre, 20,000 people gathered right here and consecrated as hallowed ground and transformed the death of this ground to life yet once again. May God Almighty bless his soul, that we shall no longer be subjected to any more terrorism, any more attacks. Let all religions have the right to practice their religions publicly and privately. And everyone realize that this war against darkness is a communal war. We're all fighting this together. So let's hold hands together. We are always stronger together. And know, having faith in God Almighty, that God Almighty will see us through this attack as well. And we'll definitely see greater and better times. God bless you. God loves you.